Good morning. Um, this is Mama. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. On yesterday, I was talking to Timothy, and what I had on was showing some cleavage. And he dared me to do a video on the proper dress for virtuous women. Now, I did recognize that the top that I had on was a little low, cut a little low, and I was kind of in a hurry, and so I had put on a little jacket over it, thinking, and closed the top of the jacket up, thinking that that would cover a little bit. But when you get busy, ladies, doing things, sometimes uh, you just that's an oversight, and you just do not pay attention to the way that you might be dressed as you ought. So I decided to take him up on um, his challenge and talk to my girls about the way that they should dress. Now, we know that the Bible says that there is a distinction between women of virtue and women of the world. But as I always stress, that women, we are so conflicted because we have so much peer pressure. The media, all of the reality shows, the print media, which is the magazines, um, the television ads that uh, talk about or focus on women's clothes, they're all pushing for sexy. Dresses are shorter and pants is tighter and um, material is thinner. And and everybody, the television media makes sexy so appealing and so important that women are being pressured more and more to look sexy and to be overly concerned with their body. Now, you know that I was trying to lose weight, and but I don't think at my age at 62 it was such a concern for me to look sexy as it was for me to be in better health and be able to function physically at the best level that I could possibly. But as far as what the Bible says about dressing, the Bible says that women of virtue, especially, should dress appropriately as would reflect the profession of their faith. Faith. It says that we should dress modestly. Can we be saved and dress sexy? Well, I mean, it's really apparent that um, anyone can explain uh, that. I mean, it's so apparent when we look at even denominations. Uh, we can say many different things, but personally, From what I read in the Bible, no, ladies, we should not strive to be sexy. There is an appropriate manner in which a woman of virtue should carry herself and should dress. She should not publicly, in places of worship or work or outside of the home, she should not show cleavage, nipples. Now they talk about the camel toes, which is a front private area. Her pants should not be so tight that these areas are exposed, or her buttocks. She should not have clothes so fitting that you see panty lines, and that she looks naked, and that there's nothing left for the man to imagine, but that every man you're showing when you go public, when a woman goes out in public, a woman of virtue goes out in public, and she's not being discreet about anything. You're showing every man your stuff. And now, when it comes to being married, I think that a woman should keep herself interesting for her husband at home. I think that she can wear sexy things for her husband to see. Do I think that we have to dress like Muslim women? No, but I do think that there is, without the extreme of being in full, they call that garb, I believe, without the extreme of being fully covered, that a woman can dress herself in a respectable manner. I have said to my daughter-in-laws, when you go out in public, if a man is looking at you and saying, that looks like I would love to, and he goes into his imagination thinking sexually towards you, then you are underdressed. When a man looks at you, he should not necessarily look at your private sexual parts, but he should look at you being a nice person, having a nice personality, especially if it is not your husband. A woman should never go out in public and flaunt herself for every other man to see. That should be something that should want to keep for her husband exclusively, or for her mate. Even if you have a boyfriend, now these criterias are for virtuous women. They're not necessarily for unsaved women. But I think that if even an unsaved woman is being exclusive, then there should be some exclusiveness in what she allows other men to see about her. We know that in the Bible, it talks about a woman covering her head, and it shows that she has a head, and she's honoring her, not only her husband, but God. And we know today, living in America, there are Muslims that cover their head, but there are also today Hebrew women that cover their hair. And sometimes they let you cover your hair with a wig. They consider that covering. Or they wear what you would call a Rapunzel. And as a Christian woman, I really like the thought of covering my head. And I think that a lot of times, personal opinion again, this is just Mama being with her personal opinion. Um, I think that that would alleviate a lot of problems that we women have, even on the job. If you dress appropriately, then you wouldn't have to worry about sexual harassment or misconduct. You kind of attract to you what you display. So, and the Bible says some other things as far as what dressing modestly is. It's not wearing the braided hair and costly array. And we know today, honey, with the Michael Kors and the Dooney Burke and all of those brand names, it's almost like you um, brand yourself by the costly array. Every out on TV, you know, women are being represented with the reality TV shows wearing costly array. And though they don't have elaborate braided hair, they have elaborate weaves. And so, yeah, I agree with my son that I should be more careful in how I dress, and that I should represent God and be a dignified woman in the way that I dress, and any other woman that says that she's a woman of virtue should be dignified. Be careful of how you dress in the church and out the church. So that's Mama's take on dressing. And I might have to go redo my wardrobe. Don't be surprised if you look up and I have my hair covered up. Wouldn't that be funny? The boys would really have a good time with that, but the ladies probably wouldn't like it. But anyway, I hope that something that I have said will be a blessing to you, or maybe even some food for thought. And until the next time, you all have a wonderful day. Okay.